Okay, so to open up Sage, we go to our desktop and double click on Sage 50 accounts. So our screen here opens up and we choose Add Company. If we want to open one of the companies that shows up in our list here, we can just click on it and say Open Company. But we want to actually create a brand new company. So we go in here and we just say Continue. So it asks us here, do we want to share, because we're using a multi-version here in the college, we're asked, do we want to share data so that it's accessible across the network. Now, if we do that, it actually causes problems. So we need to untick this box here and say next. So we give our company a name, and I'm just going to call it Castle Test. Okay, their sole trader. I'm just popping in their address as Castle Buildings, Tullamore, County Offaly. Okay, so we don't have to put in a whole lot of information, and we just say next. We are going to stick with a sole trader. We have a couple of different options, but we'll stick with a sole trader for this one. And next. Your financial year as a business can start in any month. It doesn't have to start in January. So I am just going to start this in on the 1st of September, so September 2025. So next. VAT reg number, I will leave empty for the moment because I'll just see if it'll let me go through. And the standard rate of VAT is just 23. Now it might go green on me. That's okay. And base currency is euro, and that's fine. Password, I just leave as pass with a capital P for all of them. So just so that I can remember it. And next, it then gives me a summary, and I can just say create. It then creates its data files, and all should hopefully be well. It asks me to log in with my pass and its password. Okay, so it just gives me a welcome screen, and I can say close to that. And now I have I'm in Sage 50. Okay, so a couple of different things that we need to do, and we should always do it. So while my company is in September 2025, and I'm going to enter transactions for September 2025, you see that the system date is today's day, the 7th of November. So if I forget to change a date, the system will automatically default with today's date. So I don't want it to do that. I wanted to at least capture everything within the month that I'm working on. So to do that, I go up here to settings and change program date. Okay, and I just default it to the last day of the month that I'm working in, so September. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is just check my tax setup. So to do that, I'm going into settings, configuration, and tax codes. And here I'm just checking that the rates for the relevant tax codes align with my question. So T1 is 23%, so that's goods for resale at 23%, goods for resale at 13.5%. T9 is VAT exempt. T13 is goods not for resale at 13.5%. And T11 is goods not for resale at 23%. So they're the main ones I'm going to use. Okay, so okay that. So just always throw your eye over it, because it's a college setting. Somebody may go in and change your tax codes, so just so that you're aware of it. So everything else there is kind of, we're going to leave well enough alone. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our customers. So we just over here on the left hand side can choose customers, or you can go up to modules and customers. Both will bring you in the same direction. So when we come into customers, we'll see that there's a toolbar across the top here that have queries and icons related to all things customers. So the first thing we need to do is set up our customers. So we go into new, and we say, okay, let's say we'll do cash sale 1 first of all. Now, cash sale is not obviously going to have an address with us. This is somebody who just walks in off the street, buys goods off us and pays us for them there and then. We're not extending credit to them. So cash sale. Now, you'd need very little information when you're setting up a customer, but the one thing that is very handy to do is just go to credit control and just agree terms, because otherwise it just keeps giving you a warning message. So save. And we'll do LOE1, so Leash Offaly ETB, and they are based in, we'll go with Main Street. Now, the system will allow you put in bad data. It'll allow you put in Portlaoise, County Laois here as Street 1 and Street 2. Do get into a habit of kind of good naming convention when you're setting up customers, because you want to be able to run queries on them. If I wanted to run a report to show me all my customers that are based in Laois, you know, I could run a report if I've been consistent in the way that I've entered my data. And again, go to credit control and terms agreed. Okay, so not a huge amount of information going in, just their account code, their name and their address, and then under credit control, terms agreed, and click save. So you see now we have 2 customers set up. Okay, we're going to do the same process with suppliers. So we go down to suppliers, new, and we'll do the ESB, and we'll put them in Fitzwilliam Square, Dublin 2. And again, credit control, terms agreed, save. Okay. And we'll do B1. And we'll say they're based in Main Street, Tullamore, County Offaly, and again, we're just going to agree the terms with them. Okay, so just want to double check that I agree terms with Bob or with the ESB. I did. Okay, so we've 2 customers, 2 suppliers. So we're doing very little business in our world, but we'll needs must. So the next thing then, we set up our products. So to do that, we go into products and services and we say new. Okay, now this is really, really important part, because if you get this piece right, there's very little that you can go wrong with in the rest of your question, because this bit drives the tax, this bit drives the money, you know, your debtors and the amount of money that's going to come into you. So very important to get it right. So if we look at a product code, so let's say with I'll just do. Okay, so the option you have is it a stock item or a non-stock item? So if it's a stock item, you have to put in opening stock down here, because otherwise there's not stock available to meet the order that you are trying to send out. So if I say here that book 1, we'll say it's the history of Clara. Now, sales nominal codes are can default in, so 4,000 for sales, and you see that this is coming from here, and this links back to the nominal ledger that we would have seen on the when we were doing the manual. So it's kind of saying this is the bucket that this relates to. So if you want your analysis and you want to be able to say, okay, how much am I selling on physical products? How much am I selling on consultancy? How much am I selling on training, or whatever it is? You're able to do that by differentiating your sales in here. And I'll show you in a second how to rename those. Okay, and tax code, we'll charge it at 23%, and we'll say our sales price is €16. Our opening stock, we have we're going to put in opening stock. So I just click on the little OB here. It asks me, do I want to save it? I say yes. And my opening stock was 2,000 books on the history of Clara. Okay, so all I'm filling in is the product code, whether it's the stock item, given it a description. I'm filling in the sales nominal code. I'm filling in the tax, so goods for resale at 23% or whatever it is. I'm filling in the price, and I'm filling in the quantity of them that I have in stock. Okay, so save. Okay, and close. Now I'm going to set up another product called, we'll call this training. This is going to be a non-stock or a service item, whichever you wish to go with. So we'll call this training. This time I'm going to change it to 4001, so that's sales type B. I'm going to charge VAT at T3 on this, and the price is going to be 150 euros an hour per unit. You'll see that the in-stock is grayed out, okay, because it's a non-stock item. I can't store up training and have it in the warehouse, okay? So save and close. So I have two types of product. One is a stock item, one is a non-stock item. Okay, so that was under modules or products and services, or just clicking on products and services here on the left-hand side. I also want to look at our nominal codes. So you'll see here is your chart of accounts. And if we look at any of these, we'll see there's our sales. Okay, so if I want to go in here and rename these, that I want them to be more descriptive for me, and I want to make sure that the accounts codes that I'm going to use are going to be available to me. So I'm going into new. Sorry, I'm going into new and I'm going to query 4005 or 4000. So I'm saying I'm going to call this product sales and save it. If I look at 4001, I'm going to call that training sales and save. If I look at the likes of 75, if we look at the, my call, we'll go with 7582, we'll just rename as electricity. Now, they may exist somewhere in this list here. I just want to use consistent numbers so that we're all using the same thing. And that's fine. So sorry, 7582, electricity, and save. Okay. Now, we've enough there to kind of, just for me to demonstrate to you what is involved. Oh, I'll actually just double check capital exists. Yeah. Okay. So enough there for you to kind of see a bit of a run through of the various bits and pieces. So the first thing that we know first thing that we've done there is, right, we have changed our program date to the 30th of September. So at least if we don't change any dates, everything will default to that date. Secondly, we have checked our configuration to check our tax codes. Then we went and we set up our customers. So into customers and new. We then went and did the same with our suppliers and new. We then should go and do our nominal codes and make sure that we go in again to new, query a nominal code. If it exists, we can say, great, take it off our list, and that's fine. If it doesn't exist, we can rename it. Or even if it does exist, we may wish to rename it to something that's meaningful to us, like we did with the sales. We then go and create our products and services. So we see here that we have our products. They should have a quantity in stock if they are a stock item. If they're a service item, they won't have a quantity in stock. Just make sure and check the nominal code, check the VAT code, and make sure that you've assigned stock for any physical products. Okay. So that's your setup. And when you've that done, you are now in a position to kind of start entering transactions. So to do that, we're going up here to bank accounts, and we're going up to, we see we have a number of bank accounts here. There's two that we are going to work on in the course of this course, and they are our bank account of 1200 and our petty cash account of 1230. So typically we would have started our questions with saying the company started trading on the 1st of September with X amount of capital. They lodged X to the current account and they lodged Y to the petty cash. Please reflect this in the transaction in the accounts. So we're going to do that. So to do that, we go up in here into bank accounts and bank receipt. And we're saying bank account 1200, which is, you'll see here, is our current account. On the 1st of September, received opening capital, okay, and then the nominal code for capital is 3,000. So it received opening capital of 79,800. Now, if the system defaults to a tax code of T1, which is 23%, lodging money into your bank account is not a vatable transaction. So we choose T9 and say, okay, so no VAT. And you can see that the full 79,800 is going to go into our bank account. The other 200 went to our petty cash account, again on the 1st of the 9th. Everything's going to be the exact same here. Again, 3,000. This time it's 200 euros and the VAT code is going to be T9. Okay, so there's our 80,000, 79,800 to the current account, 200 to the petty cash. So save. Okay, and you see now that the transaction is affected here, 79,800 and 200. Okay, so that's our opening capital lodged. The next thing that we need to do is deal with sales. So we are going to sell some goods to our customers. Okay, so if we go up here to invoices and credits and new invoice. Okay, so this screen here opens up. So it defaults in with an invoice type for a product and it defaults in with the date showing as the last day of the month. So if we say on the 1st of September, we've only two customers. We made a cash sale and we've only two products, so we haven't much going on in our business yet. So these lads just clicking on the drop down and I'm saying, okay, these are the products here. So these boys bought 150 of those books. Okay, so defaults in with the product or with the product code I select, it defaults then in with the description and a quantity of 1. I can change that to the number of products that they've bought. It'll default in with the price. And because we set up the VAT when we set up our product, it's calculating all of that for us at 23%. So check the date that it's going to the right customer and then check your product codes and the number of them that they've bought and click save. Okay. Now we can enter another one. So I'll just do the 3rd of the 9th. And this time I'll charge it to Lee Shoffley ETB. They bought a number of books. They also got a bit of training. So I'm just going to fill in, they got 15 books and they got 10 hours of training. Okay, so they spent just a little over 1,900 euros with us. So save. Now I'll do 2 more invoices just to close the loop. So again, cash sale. They had some training with us. They had 15 hours of training with us and we save. And the last one I'm going to do is on the 6th of the 9th, Lee Shoffley bought books. So I'll say they bought 150 books off us and they did a load of training with us. So they did 60 hours of training with us. Okay, so save. Okay, so now I can see the running balance of what my customers owe me as it stands at this point in the month, right? But nothing is ever plain sailing, so we might have a credit note. So I'm going to go in here to new credit, and I'll pop this in that on the 8th of the 9th, Lee Shoffley ETB returned 6 books. Okay, they're all dog-eared, they return them back, and I save. So this defaulted into credit because I chose new credit. It's the exact same screen. I just changed the date, selected the account, filled in the product code, the quantity, and I'm just going to click save. Now I see all of my invoices here and I see my credit note. Okay. Now, at this stage, these are orders that aren't quite fulfilled. So I need to move stock to fulfill these orders, and in order to kind of post them to the ledger and say, these individuals bought goods off of us, we have dispatched or allocated goods to the orders, and now they are effectively debtors. This is what they now owe us. Okay, so I need to do 2 steps. So I'm going to highlight them all, so I can click on the first ad and go Control A on my keyboard, or I can click on the first invoice and hold down the Control key on my keyboard and click them all. Okay. When I do that, I then need to click Print. I go to Layouts, and I can hover over any of these and just preview. Okay, and it shows me a preview of what the invoices look like. That's fine. I don't need to physically print these out. It's sufficient just to print them and say OK. And then I say Update Ledgers and OK. Okay. Now you'll see that all of my invoices are showing as printed and they are all showing as posted. Okay. Now I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to stop recording.